Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mike Martin Show here on AM 790 WPRV on Facebook Live and on YouTube. I'm your host, Scott Credici. Glad you could join us. We're happy to be joined by the head coach of the Bears, Mike Martin. Coach, how are you?
Scott, doing well. Good to be with you.
Great to be with you. I wish we could be at our favorite spot, Hope Street Pizza, but out of an abundance of caution, we're going to continue to do the show from the basketball offices here in the Pizzatola Sports Center until things maybe are a little bit safer in terms of the COVID issue, and then we'll be back out on location.
Yeah, I read in the New York Times this morning that Omicron may be in retreat. So if that's the case, hopefully we'll be back with Saki and the folks at Hope Street Pizza soon.
Looking forward to it. Well, Coach, your team played a pair of games since we last met, and we'll go over them chronologically. Last Saturday, you played the Princeton Tigers down in New Jersey, and you lost a close one, 76-74. Just your thoughts on that game.
Yeah, highly competitive game. Both teams, I thought, were really efficient. Offensively, offense was better than the defense for the most part in that game. And, I thought we played really well offensively. We shared the ball. Keno was terrific with his shot-making ability, even when we didn't run good offense. Ticho, obviously, was terrific as well. And there were some good moments. I thought our cutting off the ball was good. Our spacing was good, how we shared it. And it came down to the final possession. Obviously, a lot led up to that final possession. I thought the execution of what we wanted to do was pretty good. Princeton defended, it really well. We wanted to get Ticho at the elbow in a one-on-one situation, and they did a good job defending it. He kicked it out to Pax, which was an option. Yep. Keno was also an option coming off a pin down, and Pax got a decent look at it. Didn't go down, and T got the offensive rebound, but then lost it. So, another close competitive game against a good team that we got to find a way to win.
All right, let's go over some of the highlights in this one. In the first half, you talk about Ticho, and he had a terrific game with 18 points, 7 assists. That's, I think, one of the things that's overlooked in T's game is the fact that he can set up his teammates very well. He's not a guy that when he takes it to the hoop, he just puts his head down and he's got one thing on his mind, get to the rim and score. If he sees a defense collapse on him, he'll find the open guy on the perimeter. And here, Cho found Paxton Wojcik for 3 in the first half. Down low, they go to Cho. In the low post. Cho now picks up his dribble, whips it up top to Wojcik. Open 3 for Paxton is dribble, whips it up top to Wojcik. Open 3 for Paxton is good.
And that was a deep 3 by Paxton off of a feed from Ticho. Was double teamed and found Paxton on the other side of the floor. Nice skip pass.
5 for Wojcik. Bears pulled to within 1. 37-36 Tigers. 2:05 to go in the opening half. Yeah, my apologies. We were playing 2 cuts at once there, but you get the gist of it. Cho dribble penetration, kicks it out to Wojcik. Wojcik hits the open 3.
Yeah, they helped off Pax a little bit in the low post. And T, as you said, Scott is such an unselfish and willing passer and playmaker. The 7 assists speaks to that. Princeton was really focused on him, and that was a good read and good shot making ability by Paxton. I also thought some of T's assists came from our guys making really good cuts away from the ball. Dan Friday, Lilly stick out, getting some buckets off T's backdoor passes too.
Yep. Well, Coach, you talk about some of the nice things that happened during the game. The play you guys ran and executed right before halftime that resulted in a Lilly open 3 I thought was fantastic. Let's take a listen. 5.7 seconds left. Friday will throw it in from the side. Friday, cross court to Nana in the corner, gets it to Lilly, open 3 in front of the Princeton bench, and he hits it. What a well-designed play that was for the Bears, and it gives them the lead at halftime, 42-41 over the Princeton Tigers.
And the Tigers had a foul to burn. They were trying to foul somebody. That developed way too fast for Princeton, and Keno hits that shot.
You could tell that's a play the Bears have worked on in practice.
You could see it, Scott.
Great design play by Mike Martin and the Bears coaching staff, and so well executed by the student athletes.
Yeah,
and
perfect
Brown
execution.
With a 42-41 halftime lead here at Princeton. That was really well run, and you knew what Princeton was trying to do, right? They had fouls to burn. They were burning them there, and so you guys were able to get that pass cross-court into the corner, and then the defense, moved to Nana. He finds Lilly in the open 3.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing and something I've thought about and really looked at lately. When you do have fouls to give at the end of the half, how aggressive do you want to be in giving those fouls, or do you want to just play your normal defense? And we've always been someone that wants to give them in the previous years, just like Mitch and his staff tried to do at Princeton. what that allowed us to do, we put our defensive lineup in the possession before to get a stop. We were down 41-39, and there was a dead ball timeout, so we subbed in our defensive lineup, to get that stop, which we got. Keno wasn't on the court, and we were going to run a ball screen play for Dan with the other guys we had in there at the end of the first half. And Princeton, given the foul, allowed us to sub. It allowed us to get Nana on the court. It allowed us to get Keno on the court, and it allowed us to run that play. That was it's an interesting decision. It's an interesting discussion point for coaches. Do you want to give those fouls at the end of a first half? Because the other thing it does, it gives personal fouls to guys that maybe are big players for you, and maybe that leads them into being fouled out in the second half. So,
I think you brought up two good points there. That's number one, right? Do you want to, get fouls on guys that, might have issues with foul trouble in the second half, key players? But number two, and I never thought of it, it gives you time to sub.
It allowed us to sub, and you know what? We had already used our timeout. We didn't want to burn another one to set up that play.
Right.
And that's not a play we run every day. It's one of our special situation plays, and they're all kind of named after either cities or states or towns, and our guys heard the play, and credit to them, man. They really executed it well. Dan made a great pass, and Nana caught it, and then obviously hit Keno, and T set a great screen too to get Keno open. It was really well executed by our guys.
Coach, you talked about some of your guys cutting nicely to the basket, Dan and Keno, and here in the second half, the Princeton defenders, obviously, you got to get out on Lilly. He's a great shooter, but when you get out on him, that can set him up for a backdoor cut, and he gets rewarded with a layup here. Here's Keno Lilly with it on the left side. Passes it up top to T. Cho. Cho bounces it to Lilly, cutting backdoor, who lays it up and in.
A nice give and go, and T. Cho with a nice soft pass, and Lilly lays it in.
Well, the Tigers overplaying Lilly's outside shooting ability, and Lilly pulled a little Princeton on him, did a backdoor cut, got rewarded by T. Cho.
Well, he moved without the ball when he made that three also a couple 30 seconds ago.
Here's down one, 56-55, and they've turned up the pressure defensively here on Princeton. Moving without the ball, as you know, is so important, right? And I could think of some guys over the years that have done a great job of that. To me, Matt Sullivan was a guy that moved very well without the ball. Mark McAndrew was probably as good as it gets moving without the ball, trying to get himself open. But that's a great example of moving without the ball and what it can result in.
Yeah, I'm looking at our All-Ivy plaque here in the office, and the most recent one, Stephen Spieth, was such a great cutter without the ball. I mean, he was really good with the ball. But, it's such an important quality and skill. Keno's become really good at it, and he's only a freshman. He's so good with the ball. He's so talented. He's just every time he shoots it, we think it's going in because he's that skilled and that good making difficult shots. But because of his cutting, he's starting to get a lot more easier shots, even though teams are, really locked in and focused on him from a scouting standpoint. I mean, obviously, I think when you look at our team right now, how are we gonna guard Cho, how are we gonna guard Lilly are probably the two biggest things that jump out to teams as they prepare for us. And he's certainly not a secret, and he continues to produce at a really high level.
So Lilly not only matched, he broke set a new career high with 25 points against the Tigers. This was the basket for Keno that tied his shot clock. Cho's got to make something happen. He gets it to Lilly. Lilly takes it by Uoma, puts up the floater off the window, and scores.
It's so under control. Most people, when they leave their feet like that, Scott, it spells trouble. For Keno, it spells a basket.
And he matches his career high with 24. He also had 24 at Quinnipiac earlier this season. 68-68. We're all tied with 3:25 to go. Yeah, to me, I mean, that's a sign of a real good offensive player, right? Obviously, we know he's arguably your team's best shooter, right? He's got a terrific stroke from the perimeter. He can knock down threes for you. But then he can take it by a defender, either to the rim, or he can hit that little running floater. He just seems to have mastered that shot as well. And that gives him a nice little offensive repertoire with which to deal.
Really good, yeah. His shot making is really a high level. His combination of speed, but never kind of being out of control and playing at such a mature pace, I think really is what sets him apart. I mean, he's one of the fastest guys in the country when he gets going, but he's never out of control. And like Russ just spoke to it, so many guys when they're in traffic, when they're driving, or they're just catching a pass off a cut, when they leave their feet, they're out of control. He's he's in such control, and it's really fun to watch.
So one other question about that afternoon. So the Detroit Pistons had a scout there, Bobby Gonzalez, and for folks in the Rhode Island area, that name's familiar. He was a former assistant at Providence College under Pete Gillen, later went on to Virginia with Pete as an assistant before becoming the head coach in Manhattan and Seton Hall. He was there actually to take a look at T. Cho. And, he had originally scheduled to go to the Providence-UConn game on Saturday, which was canceled, and he was going to come to our game on Monday against Yale. He said, well, now that the PC game's canceled, he lives down that way. He's decided to come to Princeton. And, obviously he was impressed. He thought T had a good game. He was impressed with Lily, too. He said that to me after the game, and also with Awoma from Princeton. But this league, and the NBA and professional basketball, be it overseas or elsewhere. And would you compare him to a guy like Mie One, who's been in the league and going back and forth between the G League and the NBA? I mean, are there similarities, or are they far different, in your opinion?
With T? Yeah, I mean, obviously their size and their length and their ability to defend, I think, multiple positions is something they have in common. I think Oni's shot-making ability was probably a little bit better at this stage, although T's really come a long way. And what T does around the basket is in terms of how he rebounds the ball at this level, I think is better than what Oni did at that point. It's just that league is so big, and it's such great size. But I remember Doc Rivers saying this, and so many great coaches. I remember Doc when he was talking about Jared and Solinger. Rebounding is a stat that translates levels, right? If you can rebound in high school, you're going to be a good rebounder in college. If you can rebound in college, you can rebound at the next level. And I know T can rebound the ball with anybody. No matter who we play, he's got a great chance to go get it. And he's gotten feedback from people, and he's got to continue to work and improve and get better. But I would tell you the way he's playing right now, he's going to have a chance to play professional basketball somewhere next year. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So, Coach, then you have Sunday off, and then it's on to Yale Monday, Martin Luther King Day here at Brown, and you hosted the Bulldogs. You fell by 3, 66-63 to Yale. Let's go over some of the highlights in this one. Early on, Jalen Gainey gets the dunk for the Bears.
Back up top to Keno Lilly, guarded by M. Bang, who's been great defensively. Nice pass down low for Cowan to Gainey, who throws it down.
That was an example of great ball movement there. I remember Perry kind of had like the little wraparound pass, and Gainey came in and just slammed it.
And it started with a really good cut by Perry.
Yep.
Teams were kind of loading up with Keno on the ball screen, and Perry made a great unselfish cut. That doesn't always lead to him getting the ball, but it could have led to maybe more space for Keno, or maybe a shot for the guy who was in the corner behind him. And it was a great pass by Keno, great cut by Perry, and then obviously Jalen, after setting the ball screen, started to roll, and Perry made a great pass to him.
Credit to David Korzanowski on the radio call for our home games. And, you talk about Jalen Gainey, and you wanted to see that Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year presence on the defensive end. I thought he gave it to you Monday against Yale. He had 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 block shots. And here's one of Gainey's blocks, which actually led to a bucket for Jalen on the other end.
Nice drive, baseline. Gainey with a huge block, and it comes out to Cho. Cho in transition to Friday, drops it off for Gainey. Pull-up jumper is good from about 6 feet. Jalen Gainey goes offense and defense, and Brown's down just 2.
Yeah, it's fun to see when good defense leads to good offense, right? You get a block, it can start transition and lead to an easy bucket down the other end.
We talk about it all the time, Scott. It's one of the things we celebrate in our culture plays too. Great defense leading to offense. We want our offense to come from our defense, and I think especially in that game when we did get going offensively, a lot of it was because we were getting stops and we were able to get out and transition and score. And obviously Jalen's defensive rim protecting is as good as there is. But that shot right there is probably something he can be more aggressive shooting, that little 6 to 8 foot floater, whether it's off a ball screen, whether it's off a dribble penetration or in transition like it was right there. He can make that shot at a high percentage, and I'm glad that Dan gave him the ball, and I'm glad that Jalen had the confidence to shoot it because that's a high percentage shot for him.
But Jalen's no dummy. He knows that dunking the ball is a higher percentage shot, Coach. That's why he is the all-time field goal percentage leader in Brown basketball history.
Good point.
And it's fun to watch as a fan, I'll tell you that. Well, T-Cho was just magnificent. Career-high 30 points, 12 rebounds, and he did what I think great scorers do. got to the free throw line. 11 of 15 from the stripe on the day. Here, T. Cho ironically misses one of his free throw attempts, but he follows it up with a dunk.
Cho misses it, gets his own rebound, and slams it home! T. Cho misses the free throw, but makes up for it. Yale is up just one.
Boy, I thought the effort T gave you, Coach, in the second half was really, really extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, all game long. I mean, he can rebound the ball at any level, like we just talked about. Yale's a physical, aggressive defensive team. T didn't force the issue, but he was able to get to the foul line because they were, obviously so focused on him and so physical guarding him. And that's a trait of a really good scorer. You said it, but he's making his free throws at a high percentage. He's rebounding the ball. He's playing with such great confidence. He made a three. He's driving. He's finishing with his right, finishing with his left. T's offensive output was extraordinary, and it kept us in the game and got us back in the game. And we just came up a little bit short.
I don't know if this is something that coaches or players ever talk about, but I think about it when I watch games, and that is when a team is struggling to score the basketball, to me, like a great scorer can easily go to the free throw line. Like if the shot's not going, right, if just one of those nights, your shot's not going in, get fouled, go to the line, hit a couple of free throws, maybe that gets you going. Maybe that gets your confidence up.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's something that we've got to, from a defensive standpoint, got to be better at lately. We've been fouling way too much, and I think it's something we practice. It's something we take pride in, to defend without fouling, be physical without fouling, to show the discipline to not foul. There's a lot of good defensive teams out there that aren't just going to walk you to the foul line, no matter how good of a scorer you are. So I do think that is, when you're that gifted offensively, you can put teams in tough positions, and I think obviously like T and the kid from Princeton, Tosan, they put you in tough spots where they're so good that if you play them without fouling, they're probably going to score, and if you want to prevent them, make it hard on them, sometimes it's going to lead to a foul. So that is something that T's really good at, getting to the foul line. But I think from a defensive standpoint, we want to show a little bit more discipline to defend without fouling.
Just your overall thoughts on that game, Coach. I know you fell behind by double digits in the second half, got it all the way back to 1 point, but just couldn't finish it off. Your thoughts on the Yale game on Monday? It's
just frustrating, disappointing, because we've shown how competitive we are. We can compete with anybody. We can come close with anyone, but we're not winning. So disappointing and frustrating. We've got to find a way to make winning plays down the stretch of these games throughout the entire 40 minutes. Look at our 3 league losses if you take away Dartmouth. Our 3 league losses on the road are by a combined 9 points, and they're all coming down to the final minute. And over the course of 40-minute game, there's usually about 70 possessions on average per team, so that's around 140 possessions when you factor in offense and defense. The first possession is just as important as the 140th possession. So, the first minute's just as important as the last. It's not that we're not playing with urgency. We play with great urgency. Our guys play with great passion and spirit. We've just got to find a way to be a little bit better offensively and defensively, a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more, find a way to make it happen, and we'll come out on the right side of these games. But disappointing that we're at where we're at. I know how good Princeton is. I know how good Yale is. But I know how good we can be too, and what our potential is versus what we are right now probably isn't lined up, and we've got to figure that out.
And look, you can't make it all back in one game, right? You've got to just be singularly focused on the next opponent, and I know we'll talk about Columbia later in the show, but like you said, you are where you are right now. You can't get them all back in a matter of a week. It's just one game at a time, right? Just knock them down one at a time and then see where we are at the end.
Yeah, it's one practice at a time, really. I mean, we want to have a great day today. We want to have a great day tomorrow as we continue to prepare. And, it's really about that. I mean, it's funny. I was looking back and, saw a schedule for my freshman year, and we started 1-4 in the league, and we lost at Harvard, at Princeton, at Penn, at Yale. We beat Dartmouth. And that year we ended up turning around and played really well down the stretch. But I'm thinking back to that year, and it was like we were just trying to survive. We were just trying to have a good practice. We were focused on, let's have a great practice. Never mind what's ahead. Never mind, how many games we have remaining. Let's have a great practice today. Have another one tomorrow. And then when the game comes, let's focus on winning that game. And, it's such cliche. I'm sure a lot of people, hate hearing it, but it's the truth. If you can have a good day today, follow it up with another good one tomorrow, you're making progress.
All right, we'll take a quick time out, and when we come back on the Mike Martin Show, we'll be joined by a pair of juniors, Paxton Wojcik and Perry Cowan, when we continue with the Mike Martin Show right after this.
The British! They're here!
Sir, this is our Bay Coast Bank interactive teller machine, not the British. With our local ITM personal bankers, you can cash checks, make loan payments, and deposit or withdraw funds with extended hours beyond regular branch hours.
Genius!
Thank you!
I would like to make a withdrawal.
Great! How much?
12 shillings, please.
Elite Physical Therapy is a proud partner of Brown Bears Athletics. Achieving elite levels of performance is a pursuit held by all athletes, so we wanted to know how members of Brown's coaching staff defined elite.
Elite means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but I would say it's somebody who's pursuing their potential to the absolute ends. And so, for some people that might mean, the Olympic Games and pursuing medals, and for other people that might mean trying to get onto the roster, to travel to HEPS and our Ivy League championship, and to score a point for the team by the time they're a senior. So everybody's potential lies in a different place, but if you're truly pursuing your potential to the absolute end, then that's what being elite is to me.
Now taking off, Breeze Airways with nice, new, and non-stop flights to Pittsburgh, Charleston, and Norfolk. Only on Breeze Airways.
Doctors at University Orthopedics have been caring for the people of southeastern New England for more than 40 years. With the Warren Alpert Medical School of Brown University, we train the next generation of orthopedic surgeons. Our state-of-the-art facilities stretch from Westerly to Mansfield. At our East Bay Surgery Center, we've performed thousands of surgeries, including same-day total joint replacements. We've grown through the years, but our goal has always been getting you back to doing what you love to do. The best orthopedic care anywhere is right here. University Orthopedics.
From corporate events to weddings by the bay to private celebrations, the Pronzi name means elegance, personalized service, and exacting attention to detail. Pronzi has everything you need in one place: event planning, catering, tents, tables and chairs, decor, and so much more. Call Pronzi today and let them plan your next event. Why go anywhere else?
The British! They're here!
Sir, this is our Bay Coast Bank interactive teller machine, not the British. With our local ITM personal bankers, you can cash checks, make loan payments, and deposit or withdraw funds with extended hours beyond regular branch hours.
Genius!
Thank you!
I would like to make a withdrawal.
Great! How much?
12 shillings, please.
Doctors at University Orthopedics have been caring for the people of southeastern New England for more than 40 years. With the Warren Alpert Medical School of Brown University, we train the next generation of orthopedic surgeons. Our state-of-the-art facilities stretch from Westerly to Mansfield. At our East Bay Surgery Center, we've performed thousands of surgeries, including same-day total joint replacements. We've grown through the years, but our goal has always been getting you back to doing what you love to do. The best orthopedic care anywhere is right here. University Orthopedics.
From corporate events to weddings by the bay to private celebrations, the Pronzi name means elegance, personalized service, and exacting attention to detail. Pronzi has everything you need in one place: event planning, catering, tents, tables and chairs, decor, and so much more. Call Pronzi today and let them plan your next event. Why go anywhere else?
Welcome back to the Mike Martin Show here on AM 790 WPRV, on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Scott Credisha with you. We should remind you that the Mike Martin Show is brought to you by three great sponsors. Bay Coast Bank, providing exceptional service and financial solutions for our community since 1851. Visit baycoast.bank to learn more. Brought to you by Ticket Smarter. Nothing beats the power and excitement of live events like Ticket Smarter. For all the best sports, concerts, and theater events, visit ticketsmarter.com or on the app. Ticket Smarter, proud to be the official ticket resale marketplace of Brown Athletics. Ticket Smarter, a smarter way to buy tickets. And our player interviews brought to you by the Brown University Sports Foundation. Through your work and your donations and the work of our volunteers, the Brown Sports Foundation is committed to providing funding and support to Brown Athletics that enhance the student-athlete experience. We thank you for your generosity and your service to Brown Athletics. Gives me great pleasure right now to welcome to the Mike Martin Show a pair of juniors. To my immediate right, we have Paxton Wojcik. Paxton, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Scott.
Well, thank you for joining us. And fellow junior Perry Cowan to his right. Perry, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, thank you guys for joining me. And, let's first talk about the season to date. I know it hasn't gone the way that you guys would have hoped or expected. I think, instead of 1-4, we'd expect to be 4-1 in Ivy play. But it hasn't worked out that way. Paxton, from your, vantage point, I know we've lost a lot of close ones here. 3-pointer to Yale on Monday, 2-pointer at Princeton on Saturday. What do you think's the difference?
I think at the end of the games, we need to learn how to close them out better. To some of the top 3 teams in the league, it's been a 9-point difference for those 3 games. And, if one possession here or there, we find a way to get those 9 points back, we are sitting at 4-1. But, you can't look in the past. You can't dwell on it. We just got to take each game, each experience and learn from it and, make sure we get, the next game and focus on the next game.
Perry, there's a long way to go here, and obviously it's a battle to get into that top 4, to get to the Ivy League tournament. That's what it's all about. But you can't really look at that big picture, can you? You have to be singularly focused on what's immediately in front of you, and in this case it's Columbia on Saturday.
Yeah, but even before that, it's the next practice. We have to take it day by day, trying to better our habits, better ourselves every day, and that's what it's going to take.
Well, Perry, you had a heck of a performance at Harvard. You came off the bench, you scored 15, you made 5 threes. And, let's go back to your freshman year. You were a significant contributor as a freshman, which not a lot of players are. And you were, particularly on the defensive end of the floor, you were kind of charged with defending a lot of our opponents' top scorers. What do you remember about that season and taking on that type of challenge?
That was some of the most fun I've had, guarding the best players. I take pride in defense, and I feel like my defense will translate to offense, and they were always looking at me to guard the best player and get us going on defense, so I stepped up to that role.
And the one thing, too, that I've always loved about you, Perry, and I noticed this as a freshman, a lot of times freshmen will kind of acquiesce to the upperclassmen. You're a shooter, and when I say you're a shooter, shooters not only aren't afraid to shoot, but are confident every time they get an open look at the basket. And that's you, right? I mean, you don't even hesitate. You don't think twice. I get it. I'm open. It's going up.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just preparation, I see a lot of shots going in. Some don't fall, but it got to be the next play. It got to be the next shot every time. They always tell me to be ready to shoot, and when they feed it to me, they trust that I'm going to knock it down.
Paxton, I would call you a shooter as well. Shooters have to have a short memory, don't they?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I just saw something Klay Thompson said the other day. He said, I don't care if I miss 100 in a row. I'm going to shoot the next one. I work too hard not to. So just, like Perry was saying, I'd echo the same message. We work too hard. We put in the hours. So if, we get a look, we're going to feel confident and we're going to shoot it every time.
You had a good game against the Crimson as well, now that I mention it. In fact, you went up against your brother, who's a freshman at Harvard. Just talk a little bit about having him in the league and you guys getting to square off twice a year.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. Really happy for him to, be able to, go to such a good school and play as well. And happy he's close by up at Harvard. But just a really cool opportunity to compete against each other and, share the same floor. And it's really, turning dreams, into a reality. So it was really cool.
And like Perry, Denham's getting to play right away as a freshman. I mean, he's a significant contributor to what they're doing up at Harvard.
He is, yeah. He's had a great year so far. I know they've got some injuries now, so he's gotten in the starting lineup the past 2 games. So I just, try to tell him to, take advantage of it, have fun, be a good teammate, and he does all those things. So I know he'll have a great career.
Perry, how great is it to be back out on the floor this year after missing an entire season due to COVID?
Amazing. Last year, we actually got to work out a little bit, but our whole team wasn't here. We weren't really with each other that much, but it feels great. That first game felt so great to be back.
And practice is fun. And you're right. You guys did get to do some workouts last year, which was nice. But there's nothing like the games, right? The competition of an actual game.
Nothing like that. The pace is different. Just banding with your brothers. At practice, we're usually going against each other. And then in the games, like, we're together. Like, it's us against everyone else, us against the world.
Pax, different story for you. You played at Loyola Chicago. You did have a season last year before transferring here to Brown. What was it like, though, being on the court during the COVID year? I mean, I assume, did you play most, if not all, your games in front of no fans? Were there fans, or what was it like at Loyola?
So it was no fans for most of the year at the games, and it was a unique experience. It almost felt like each game, was kind of a scrimmage atmosphere. The benches were, separated 6 feet apart, so you're kind of isolated, sitting by yourself, which was really different. And then just playing in empty arenas, bringing energy from the bench and, on the floor was really important because, the home crowd wasn't getting energy from, the fans.
Yep.
But it was really just a blessing to be able to play. Once you got to the NCAA tournament, there were some fans in limited capacity, so that was cool. But just being able to play, during the pandemic and all this craziness is, something, you can't take for granted.
So you made the decision during the offseason to transfer here to Brown. Tell us about that decision. First of all, to put your name into the transfer portal, and then I'm sure you had opportunities to go to different programs. What made this the right spot for you?
So I actually was recruited out of high school by Brown, Coach Martin and Coach TJ. I took a visit here summer after my junior season in high school. And I liked it. Obviously ended up, going a different route out of high school. But then we had a coaching change over at Loyola, and just the opportunity really to attend such a prestigious school, get a great degree, and the combination of the academics, and then believing in where this program can be taken to, believing in Coach Martin, and kind of the vision they had for me, and the ability to compete for an Ivy League championship was really kind of why I made the decision.
So it's interesting that you wound up here, or that you were recruited by Brown, because I'm not sure you're aware of this. You probably are, but Coach Martin and Porter Moser are good friends.
Very
for
good.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's interesting that you wound up here. Where did Porter go, to Oklahoma?
He's at OU.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Perry, you're a Chicago guy. I mean, you came in as a freshman. How did you wind up here? What were some of the schools recruiting you, and what made Brown the right fit for you at the time?
Few like mid-major schools, Colorado State. I had a few like high major in the beginning, but they kind of fell off. Ended up with like Wofford, Canisius, schools like that, Northern Kentucky, schools like that. But I felt like Brown was a great choice for me. After basketball, like when the ball stops bouncing, I still have like networking and like a career after that because of the good degree and good opportunities that are awarded to me here.
So, Perry, you can speak to this maybe a little bit better than Pax, because this is his first year. This is your third here within the program. I feel like this is the most talented and deepest roster we've ever had under Coach Martin here at Brown. Now, you've only been here for 3 of those years, but would you agree that this roster is maybe as talented or deep as it's been since you've been a part of the program?
For sure. And also, like, with the talent, like, this is, like, one of the most tight-knit groups I've been around. So that really helps, like, on the court, off the court, stuff like that, too. But speaking to, like, our depth, we have weapons everywhere, on the offensive and defensive end of the floor.
So, Pax, he's not the first person that said that to me, that this is a really tight-knit group. Would you agree with that, number one? And how would it compare to maybe, for instance, what things were like at Loyola in the locker room with your teammates?
Yeah, no, I would agree for sure. Like Perry was just saying, 1 through 17, we're really close. On the court, off the court, we enjoy, spending time together. And it really does feel like a brotherhood. And I would say it's similar to, my experience at Loyola. I've been blessed to be on, some great teams, some close-knit groups. And it's really those relationships, that are most valuable. Obviously, we want to win games and, win championships. But 30 years from now, you're not going to remember, who scored X amount of points this game. You're going to have your relationships and, your friends and your old teammates. So, I really appreciate, the kind of culture we have here and what we're building.
So, Perry, I want to get back to what we talked about, how you being really a defensive specialist as a freshman and accepting that challenge of guarding the opponent's top scorer. I feel like, too, and we've seen some examples of this recently, when you guys play great defense, it can lead to good opportunities on the other end of the floor, right?
For sure.
You force a turnover, you force a missed shot, you can get out in transition. It leads to good, like Jalen had a block on one end against Yale, on the other end he gets rewarded and hits the short little jumper. So, but would you agree with that?
Yes, for sure. We always say good defense leads to good offense. Like, it starts on the defensive end. Like, when we're not flowing on offense or things are breaking down, like, we know, like, if we play well on defense, we get a stop, it'll lead to good offense every time.
So, Pax, Coach has talked about culture plays. What does that mean, culture plays?
Yeah, culture plays are, stuff that might not show up in the box score. It could be taking a charge, giving your body up, diving for a loose ball, running to help pick a teammate up. It's really not concrete or definable, but when you see it, it does stand out and it does make a difference in the game. And so we try to get as many as those each game as we can, and each film session we end the film session by watching those culture plays. So we talk about them a lot, and they're definitely rewarded, but they make a big difference, when you're trying to win games.
Some people watching or listening to the show might know that you're from a basketball family. Your dad's been a longtime coach at the College of Charleston, now an assistant coach at Michigan State. So you pretty much grew up around the sport, right?
Yeah, I did. It's really all I've known since I was little. So I've been blessed to, be around, college basketball my whole life, and, I really appreciate that.
Perry, what about you? Did you grow up around the sport? Was basketball always your primary sport? Did you play other sports as a kid and in high school? And, what led you to this sport?
I always played basketball, yeah, but I also played a few other sports. I used to play soccer when I was a kid. Like, basketball and soccer were my first two sports, but when I got older, I started to drift away from soccer and more towards basketball. So my mom loves football. She always wants me to play football and things like that. But
can't do soccer and football. They're both fall sports, right?
I just can't do it. No. I got to stick to basketball.
I like your mom's style, though. I'm a big football fan myself, so good for her. So we've got Columbia this weekend, Saturday down there. Without giving away any game plans, what do you guys have to do in general to get back on track to put one in the win column, Paxton?
Yeah, we just need to tighten up kind of, our daily habits and our principles. Like we were talking about earlier, we've been right there, and our losses in the league, 3 of them, by 9 points. So if we tighten up some things and, execute and stay disciplined, we feel like we're going to be fine. And, we just got to go out and execute and do that.
Perry, what about from your perspective?
It's the little things. We have to focus on the little things late. Big stops, not fouling. Like, our little habits, like late game, that's what's been killing us these past few games. So we need to work on that and, focus on ourselves mainly. Starts with defense, and just when we get a run, we can't give it up.
I know we've gone through some funks offensively, like scoring droughts at time during game. But I think when we're moving the ball, I think we're at our best on the offensive end. And a great example of that was in the Yale game. You had the ball into the basket, probably could have gone up for a shot, but you made a nice little wraparound pass to JG for a dunk. You know what I mean? I feel like when we're moving the ball, whipping it around, sometimes guys will pass up an open shot for an even more open shot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a culture play right there.
Yeah.
Every time you give, there's an extra pass on a kick out or anything to the next guy to get a better shot.
And how about you? Look, I know all 17 guys in that locker room want to start and play 40 minutes, right? That's the nature of the business. You guys were all stars on your respective high school teams. Having said that, there's only 5 spots on the floor at a time. So you're right now coming off the bench. But do you relish that role of coming off the bench, trying to be that spark, whether it's offensively like you did at Harvard, nailing 5 threes and being instant offense off the bench like the old Vinnie Johnson, they used to call him the microwave for the Detroit Pistons, or maybe defensively, impacting the game as you can defensively by being that great on-the-ball defender.
Right. When I come in, I'm just ready to step up and do whatever they need me to do to win. Mainly it's on the defensive end, trying to get stops, trying to lead that spark to get our run going. But I'm just ready for whatever they need me to be.
Pax, I want to go back to the Dartmouth game because I've been around this sport long enough to know that there's just nights, and I can't explain it, but there's just nights sometimes when the darn ball doesn't go through the basket. That was one of those nights.
Yeah, no doubt.
You had open looks, we had open looks. we just couldn't get him to drop. It
Yeah.
it doesn't happen often, but it happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. That was a tough night for us shooting the ball. I think we ended up shooting like 4 for 26 from 3, and
After lighting it up the night before,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to it, but we talked about after the game. We got to be able to win games when we're shooting it well, and we got to find ways to win games when we're having an ugly shooting night. And that was our main takeaway. But yeah, you don't think about it too much. You go, next game, next play, next shot, and it just goes back to short-term memory and moving forward positively.
When I think about guys like you two, like Keno, Lilly, you're all excellent three-point shooters, but other teams know that too, right? So they're going to get out on you and try to get into you defensively beyond the three-point arc. Does that make it important to do some of that other stuff? Like I know you like to do that dribble into the lane, and then sometimes you pull up, take like the 14, 15-foot jumper. I know Keno does that floater, has that mastered. I mean, how important is that to have that other element of your game, or even moving without the basketball, right? If they're overplaying you, maybe a backdoor cut, you get it for a layup.
Yeah, that's really important. If they're overplaying, we usually backdoor, trying to set someone else up to get someone else a better shot, even if we can't get a shot.
Tax?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Really taking what the defense gives you. If it's a hard closeout, being able to drive the closeout. You got your own shot for the pull-up. You got JG at the rim with the lob, or you got to kick out to a shooter. So just take what the defense gives you. Trust your feel, but being able to have that mid-range game, that at the rim game, and being able to pass it, really is something that helps both Perry and I out. Not just being set shooters.
Perry, T-Cho came back for a grad year, and he's just been phenomenal the past few weeks. I know he got off to a slow start because he missed a lot of the preseason and some early season games due to his hip impingement.
Right.
He's fine now. He's just playing at another level.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's great that he came back. We needed a scorer, the leader, a guy that can get us going on offense and defense, and we just needed that for this year. Really good piece to our team.
No doubt about it. All right, guys, let's have some fun. Who's the biggest joker on the team? Who makes everybody laugh?
Biggest joker on the team? I would put Perry up there. Perry's pretty funny.
All right. Like JG's always got a smile on his face, but he's quiet.
Yeah.
Right? He's not cracking
laughing.
jokes,
He's
but
laughing.
he's just like a fun-loving guy.
Keno.
Keno's a joker?
Yeah, he's
little quiet assassin. So now you wouldn't notice that. He just kind of sits back and lets the world come to him, or once you think the world's coming to him, but behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Even in the open, like he'll say something like subtly, and it'll be really funny.
Yeah.
All right. What's it like when being guarded by Ferrari in practice?
You can't play with the ball. He's a great defender. Takes his pride in his defense.
Makes you a better player, doesn't it?
Yeah,
no
for sure.
doubt. And you can't drive too hard or lower your shoulder because he's gonna flop for that
Take
charge.
the charge, yeah, flop every time.
I know you haven't been through the league yet, but what's your favorite gym to visit outside of the pits? Like, what's your favorite place to play in the league?
Probably the Palestra.
Palestra?
Yeah, for sure. It's the best gym.
I would
It's
agree.
more like an arena feel to it than most other gyms.
Yeah, and the tradition. Have you had a chance to walk the concourse and see some of the pictures of the great players and coaches that have played in that arena?
I believe my freshman year we might have did that, but this year we didn't really have time to do that.
Did you have a chance to do that, Pax?
Yeah, I've seen it. I would say the same thing. Just Palestra, I'd say is a top 5 historical venue in college basketball. So really cool to play there.
I know you guys have been road warriors this year. I mean, we played a lot on the road, and the schedule is going to start to turn in our favor where we've got a lot of games right here at the Pizzatola Sports Center, which will be nice. But it is kind of fun when you guys are on the road because it's kind of a bonding thing, right? You're away from school. You're together in a hotel. You're eating meals together. You shoot around, practice together. So there's something cool about being on the road, isn't there?
Yeah, we play a lot of Uno.
Uno?
We play a lot of
is that the
Uno.
game?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, guys, good luck against Columbia on Saturday, and thank you for joining us on Coach's Show today.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Appreciate it,
having us.
Scott.
All right.
Yeah.
Perry Cowan, Paxton Wojcik, our guest here on the Mike Martin Show. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with Coach Martin to preview that Columbia matchup on Saturday when we continue right after this.
The British! They're here!
Sir, this is our Bay Coast Bank interactive teller machine, not the British. With our local ITM personal bankers, you can cash checks, make loan payments, and deposit or withdraw funds with extended hours beyond regular branch hours.
Genius!
Thank you!
I would like to make a withdrawal.
Great!
How much?
12 shillings, please.
My name is Mick Young Mobilia. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I just knew that something wasn't right. So I ended up calling Rhode Island Medical Imaging, and they gave me an appointment right away. They were able to fit me right in, and that's where they found out that I had breast cancer. It's a miracle that they found it. Whoever the radiologist is, they basically saved my life. Had they not found it, it could have gotten a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse the following year because I have invasive ductal carcinoma, and I already had one lymph node involvement. I couldn't even say the word breast cancer. So the fact that RIMI can provide a place where when you walk in, when you're so scared that you don't know where your life is going, and you walk in there, just the environment itself, you can relax. I'm glad that they look at every film individually. It's more than just a film that they're looking at, that they see a human behind it.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Dr. Hillstrom, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You can have all the money in the world, but you know what? Breast cancer doesn't see that. So for me, it's to enjoy every day of your life. My name is Mick Young Mobilia, and I am the luckiest girl on this earth.
Now taking off, Breeze Airways with nice, new, and non-stop flights to Pittsburgh, Charleston, and Norfolk. Only on Breeze Airways.
Doctors at University Orthopedics have been caring for the people of southeastern New England for more than 40 years. With the Warren Alpert Medical School of Brown University, we train the next generation of orthopedic surgeons. Our state-of-the-art facilities stretch from Westerly to Mansfield. At our East Bay Surgery Center, we've performed thousands of surgeries, including same-day total joint replacements. We've grown through the years, but our goal has always been getting you back to doing what you love to do. The best orthopedic care anywhere is right here. University Orthopedics.
From corporate events to weddings by the bay to private celebrations, the Pronzi name means elegance, personalized service, and exacting attention to detail. Pronzi has everything you need in one place: event planning, catering, tents, tables and chairs, decor, and so much more. Call Pronzi today and let them plan your next event. Why go anywhere else?
The British! They're here!
Sir, this is our Bay Coast Bank interactive teller machine, not the British. With our local ITM personal bankers, you can cash checks, make loan payments, and deposit or withdraw funds, with extended hours beyond regular branch hours.
Genius!
Thank you.
I would like to make a withdrawal.
Great. How much?
12 shillings, please.
Welcome back to the Mike Martin Show here on AM 790 WPRV, on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Scott Credisci alongside Bears head coach Mike Martin. The Bears heading on the road once again. They'll take on the Columbia Lions Saturday down in New York City. And, Coach, let's talk a little bit about this matchup with Columbia. And they've got a freshman guard that's really played well. Hermano De La Rosa, the freshman guard. I think he's out of the Dominican Republic, if I'm not mistaken, but he's really filling up the stat sheet for the Lions.
He is. He's super talented. He's had some huge games for them, and they've really been playing well since they've gotten some of their older guys back. Eddie Turner, junior point guard, and then Ike Nweke, senior front court player, who's averaging 18 points, and they had a big win at Penn, after their loss at Princeton, where they led by double figures. Lost to Harvard the other day in a pretty close game, but they've got they're playing at a great pace offensively. They have really good speed and athleticism, and they've got size. They out-rebounded Penn pretty significantly. They had, between Nweke and Patrick Harding, who transferred from Bryant, I think the two of them combined for 36 rebounds in the game.
Yeah.
Harding had 21 and Nweke had 15. So playing well. Jim does a great job. They always run really good offense, and they'll put us in a lot of tough positions.
Liam Murphy, another player that's done well for him.
Yeah, he can really shoot it. He's a sophomore from Staten Island, same high school as Chris Ledlam, star at Harvard. And Murphy, he's like I said, good size, can really shoot the basketball, and he's playing at a pretty good pace despite it being his first year of collegiate competition.
You mentioned Nweke. Did he miss some time early in the season due to injury? Just came back recently?
Correct, yeah. So I think he's only played 5 games. He did not play versus Harvard, but in the Princeton game, the Penn game, a couple of their final non-conference games, he's played, and he's played really well. He's big, he's physical, and he poses a lot of problems for your front court.
Yeah, definitely a difference maker. And, Coach, this kind of, I don't want to say it ends, but this has been a crazy, tough stretch to start the season, and we're used to this. I mean, every other year the schedule has us opening up with 5 of the first 6 league games on the road. And then the schedule turns a little bit in your favor. You're going to play a lot more here at the Pizzatola in the second half of the season as opposed to away from home. So it'd be nice to get this one on the road on Saturday before coming back home, and I think the Big Red's on deck.
Yeah, and I think you're right, but we can't think about anything other than Columbia, obviously, going to be a great challenge for us. Every game in this league has been super competitive. I don't think there's been many games, if any, that have been decided by more than 15 points either way, right? Like every game, most of them are single digits, no matter who they've been, and then it's been rare. I don't think there's been any, big wins by any opponent. So we just talked about earlier in the show, every possession matters, every defensive possession, every offensive possession. We've got to find a way to come out and play our best basketball, and hopefully that'll be good enough.
Yeah, you talk about the competitiveness of the league. I talked to James Jones before the game Monday about this, and he said, we may not have that top-tier elite team at the top of the league like we have had in recent years. I think he had mentioned one of his teams was maybe 45th in the KenPom.
I'm surprised James mentioned one of his teams.
But what he did say is he says top to bottom, I think it's very, very competitive. And he said, we beat Cornell by a pretty good margin. He said, I don't know that there'll be another game this season in the league that'll have that large.
That was the only one, yeah.
A margin of victory. He said, I just think they're all going to be close the way he sees the league.
Yeah, you're right. That was the one game that's been more than 15. That slipped my mind. But, I think – there's not probably that dominant team like you saw with some of Tommy's teams at Harvard or some of James's team in the past at Yale who have won games in the league. That Princeton team that went 14-0 with Spencer Weiss. But I think all of us feel like we can win on any given day. It was proven, by Columbia going down to Penn and winning, Columbia being really competitive with Princeton, and it's going to be a fun ride. We're really, going to have to play really good basketball this weekend if we expect to get a win. But that's all we're focused on right now is just getting a little bit better, finding a way to turn some of these close losses into some wins.
All right, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right, that's a 2 o'clock start. The Bears at Columbia this Saturday. Russ and I will be on the air at 1:45 with the pregame right here on AM 790 WPRV. And that'll do it for this edition of the Mike Martin Show. My thanks to the head coach of the Bears. Also, thanks to Perry Cowan and Paxton Wojcik for being our guests. My name is Scott Kredishi. Thanks for joining us, everybody.